This is question 23 from section 1 of the 2014 BMAT, and this question was asked what conclusion logically completes the argument. We can also think of that as being which conclusion can we draw from the argument. So let's just remind ourselves, if we're looking for a conclusion that can be drawn, that's something that's not already said but does follow from what's in the passage. So let's have a look at the passage. So at the beginning it says people used to think that memory loss and mental decline were inevitable results of aging. So that's just saying what people thought, and sentence 2 is similar. It says it's basically saying what people think now, that dementia is seen as an illness that could potentially be cured or prevented. So these are both just setting up the situation the writer's talking about, and they're not necessarily giving the writer's opinion. And then in the next few sentences they say there's now fewer cases of dementia relative to the age people are living to. So they say there were less than 700,000 cases of dementia in 2013, and they say if the rates at each age were as high as in 1994, then it would have been 900,000. And these are just statistical facts. And then they ask, why should this be so? So that's basically a rhetorical question, which suggests they're about to give what they think is a reason. And they say it might be that rates of heart disease decreased and the health of people's blood vessels increased, at least in elderly people. So although it's factual that these changes happen, since they're offering this as a reason, that's going to be the writer's opinion. And then we have an incomplete sentence at the end, which our options are going to have to complete. And the first half says, given that this fact, so brain function requires oxygen to be supplied via the blood, and then given that we're meant to conclude something else. But this part here is just a fact that we're going to use to draw our conclusion. So whatever conclusion we draw should basically be just based on the evidence that's given. So one part of that is that the rates of dementia are decreasing, and then the other part is this sort of half sentence that brain function requires oxygen supplied via the blood. And that seems relevant because the writer also says, so if we look at the factual part of this, they say heart disease decreased and blood vessel health increased. So it seems these things are all relevant to each other because they're basically relating the health of people's circulatory systems to their brain function. But we need to be careful in how we state this. So whatever our conclusion is, it's in the form of the improvement in blood vessel health somethings. And now we just got to look at the somethings and try to state it in a way that actually works as a conclusion. So if we look at option A says that, if we read it, the improvement in blood vessel health must explain why people are living longer. So does that seem like a conclusion we can draw? Well, actually, this is about people, how long people are living, whereas the whole of the argument is about, or the passage is about rates of dementia and brain function. And so this option is just irrelevant to the evidence that's actually been given. So then let's look at B. B says that the improvement in blood vessel health and the fall in dementia must have been caused by some third thing. So can we draw this conclusion? Well, it doesn't seem like it, because what is this ruling out? It's basically ruling out either change causing the other, or both of them just being caused by completely different things, rather than both being caused by the same thing. And nothing in the evidence would suggest which of those is true. For one thing, the evidence is completely consistent with, for instance, the improvement in blood vessel health causing the improved rates of dementia. Because a natural way to look at the argument is, well, maybe people have healthier circulatory systems, and so their brains get more oxygen, and so the brain function is better, and that means they're less likely to get dementia. And that would be inconsistent with B. So it seems like we can't draw B as a conclusion. It's much stronger and is making a very specific causal claim. If we look at C, so C seems more plausible. It's saying the improvement in blood vessel health has caused a fall in the rates of dementia. And I just suggested a way that could happen. So is this the conclusion? Well, this is quite strong language, so it's saying it's definitely caused the fall. So what we know is they happened at the same time, and there is a link that lets us see how better blood vessel health might cause a fall in the rate of dementia. But we don't know there aren't any other factors in play, and that's what C is ruling out. So C also seems too strong. And that's especially clear when we compare it to D, which is basically saying the same thing but with weaker language. So it's not saying it has caused the falling rates of dementia, it's saying it could have contributed. So it could have played a part, but there might be other factors. And this is the only option left, but also with that weaker language, it's now a much more plausible conclusion. So D is the answer.